Hi everybody, Ralph Havens here, autoimmuneanswers.com. How do you get to do what you want to do in life in a big way? You know, there's some people that that big stuff happens for them. There's, you know, the story of Eckhart Tolle, if you follow that sort of thing. And he had a book, The Power of Now, but then he had a book that he wrote called A New Earth. And what was interesting was he his story, from what I understand, is that he was on a tenure track position in a university in England, and then he had some sort of awakening or enlightenment thing happen, and he was in pure bliss, and he spent a number of months, I think over a year, pretty much sitting on a park bench and just blissing out, you know, just blissing out. And I think everybody was probably worried about him, his mom and everybody, you know, giving up his career. And this is the story that I've heard. I believe he's even said this, but this is the story that I know about him. And then he came to San Diego, and I think he was between San Diego and Vancouver, and he wrote that book, A New Earth. And so there was that book, and I heard he even went door to door to different bookstores like Banyan Books up in Vancouver, and hand delivered the books, and you know, was doing stuff to get it out there. And then, you know, the story, Oprah called him and said, "Hey, I want to interview you." And she did this big interview series. I watched it. It was amazing, of him walking through every chapter of the book and how to tap into your beingness, you know, and to notice when you were in this pain body way of thinking and being and feeling, and to tap back into the beingness. And so I love that book. It was really, really good. And what, you know, Jen gets asked questions. Sometimes she'll take calls from people, and they're like, "Hey, I want to experience this matrix energetics. And how do you do it? And how does Ralph do it?" And you know, we've had different practitioners ask us, like, how do you do matrix energetics? And so one of the ways that I love that she explains it is, you know, matrix energetics for us is more a state of beingness. And we think of, we're always under the umbrella of matrix energetics. It's always on, or whatever you want to call it. And then one of my other teachers, Hector Garcia, you know, says, yeah, matrix energetics is really cool. But then the thing is, what are you going to do when you're in this matrix energetic state? So he has lots of protocols and lots of things, and he sees lots of people from all over the world to help them with their healing, to get over very significant health concerns. And then he's got a whole system of what to do when you're in the matrix energetic state, or whatever you want to call that. And so, you know, one of my coaches says that over 90% of getting ahead in the world, you know, business and that sort of thing, and doing what you want to do in life, he calibrates it at 92.8%. Christian Michelson, and he says that 90% plus of getting ahead in the world, of getting your business going, of fixing stuff up, of doing things and making things happen, is the deep inner game stuff. But yet there's still that other part that's like, you got to do stuff, right? So this beingness versus doing stuff, what do you do for that? There's something that I do every day, and sometimes I do a few minutes of it, sometimes I do an hour or more of it. Today I did probably pretty close to an hour of it, and it relates to, you know, in the Bible they talk about be still and know that I am God. There's that saying, that phrase, and so how do you be still, and is it useful? And what do you mean, know that I am God? Like, who's God? And how is that useful? So there's a way, a very specific way to access that. You know, if you see somebody that's walking around alive, there's something in them, right? The ghost in the machine, that aliveness, there's life, there's some kind of energy, there's something, it's palpable. Even if they're sleeping, you can notice this person's alive, and there's something there. And yet, you know, you go to a funeral or something, and that there's a person there, but it's not there, that spirit or whatever that is, right? So what is that, and how do you access it, and how is it useful, and then what do you do, right? So I've been sharing the this technique, this process, this thing that I use every day that accesses, that gets to that beingness, that deep inner game stuff, to really get clear on that, so that then I know what to do in the physical world, and then I go ahead and do it. And I've been sharing it, but right now what I'm talking about is there's clutter that can be in the way, right? You know, if you're dealing with a really significant physical condition, or lots of mental or emotional anguish, or deep spiritual pain, stuff that happened in the past, or stuff that happened to your family, or, you know, if you're dealing with a lot of business or financial concerns, there can be a lot of clutter in the way, right? And you just don't have time to do all this meditative work, and what's the use of it anyway? You got to go do stuff. So what I did was, a few months ago, I created 30 sessions in 30 days, and it was with a group of people, and it was a way to clear out all this clutter while doing, having deep access to beingness, your beingness. And so going through the whole thing, a 15-minute session every day, and turned into a video session. So now I've got 30 plus video sessions that walk you through it. And it's a way to drop into this beingness state and show you how to do this. Now, when you do this, then you can start to do stuff in this beingness state. And so in this 30 sessions, we go through that. Now, it's what I used over the years. It's been developed over the years from a number of sources, and then me going deep every single morning. And I want you to have access to that, because my experience was there's a lot of stuff to do in the physical world to get healthier, to clear the physical stuff, to clear the mental and emotional stuff, to clear the spiritual stuff, the stuff that's in the way. And there's a real specific way to access your beingness, to actually be still and know something, know that deep, deep stuff. And then specific things to do. And so it's what I used overall. What I've noticed is basically what I used to end the anxiety in my own life and all those issues I had around that, and to get healthier in all sorts of ways, and to get to do what I love doing in the world. So, you know, one of my teachers, Sharon G. Mateo, the medical intuitive, used to say her job was to get people healthy enough to get on their own surfboard to take their own wave. And I think that's part of what I'm up to, is to help people clear out this clutter, the physical, the mental, emotional, the spiritual stuff, access your own deep inner beingness, and then have very specific things to do. So if this sounds interesting to you, if it sounds worth it, and if you can devote 15 minutes a day for 30 days for a very little amount of money, $37, I've got a way to do this. And it comes with a whole bunch of extra stuff. There's a way to access, you know, there's the Enlighten Up and Get What You Want masterclass, and there's all sorts of ways to interact with me and do this. Of course, one-on-one sessions. But what I'm talking about right now is a very specific methodology of using all of this stuff to access your own beingness and know just what to do to clear the physical stuff, the mental and emotional anguish, the spiritual pains, being in this beingness state, this matrix energetic state, and then having stuff to do, knowing what to do to get what you want to do in life. So you can grab that, get a lot more information about it, and it's a few different places, but I'll leave some links below. You can get it at www.ralphhavens.com/end anxiety forever. And I named it that because it's what I used over the years and developed to clear my anxiety and start to get to do more and more and more of what I really want to do in the world. So www.ralphhavens.com/end anxiety forever. Okay, and I'll leave links below, and let me know what you're dealing with, what you'd like to shift, and what you're up to. And I'd love to see you on the inside. You'll have instant access once you click on all that. So let's get out there and live. Let's really live. All right, everybody, Ralph Havens, and have a great weekend if you're watching this live.